part
Well,
of
I
you.
want to be able to be vulnerable a little bit. And I don't want to have to sit here and sort of.
When the news broke of Robyn's alleged emotional affair, the restaurant blow up and Kody's public meltdown, the internet exploded. At first, it was disbelief. Tweets flooded timelines. Kody gave up everything for Robyn, and now she does. This, unreal. Maybe, just maybe, she was a victim too, held captive in a golden cage. And then came the sharper comments. He abandoned 3 women who built him for a woman who destroyed him. You can't make this up. This is the most poetic justice reality TV has ever served. Reddit was even more brutal. Longtime fans, once observers, now turned emotional prosecutors. Let's be real, this was always going to happen. Robyn was never the problem. Kody was. He gaslit every one of those women. Now he's burning in the fire he lit himself. But somewhere beneath the layers of online fury and fascination, there was one aching question that echoed again and again. What about the children? Chapter 11. The kids' collateral in the crossfire. Narrator, gentle, grieving. In this grand collapse of vows, homes, reputations, the ones who didn't choose any of it are the ones hurting the most. Robyn's children, Dayton, Aurora, Brina, Solomon, and Ariella, caught between a father unraveling and a mother shattered. They've witnessed the silence stretch across dinner tables, seen Robyn sob quietly behind bathroom doors, heard Kody's rage in the late hours. They love their dad, a close family source shared. But they've also seen how miserable their mom's been for years. They heard the arguments, they felt the distance, and now they're watching everything fall apart in real time. Robyn tried to shield them, sat them down, promised, I will never keep you from your father. I won't let this tear you from him, but children can sense truth. And what they saw in her eyes wasn't certainty. It was fear. Chapter 12. Kody's mental descent. A man unraveling. Narrator, haunting in the weeks that followed the confrontation. Kody Brown became unrecognizable. Witnesses spotted him wandering the streets of Flagstaff, unshaven, distracted. Mumbling to himself, he'd sit alone at diners' meals, untouched, staring at his phone. Texting Robyn, deleting, texting again. It's broken, said one friend. Really broken. He didn't think she'd ever leave. He always believed she was his last anchor, but now he's adrift. His voice, once loud, commanding, now trembles with desperation. One insider revealed he's been calling people from his past, Janelle even. Meri, apologizing, rambling. It's like he's trying to rewrite history piece by piece. But history doesn't forget. Chapter 13. Robyn's crossroads, love or loyalty. Narrator, emotional, reflective. For Robyn, the pain cuts in 2 directions. On one side, Kody, the man she fought for, the man she defended. The man? She sacrificed her reputation to love. On the other, Marcus, the man who saw her pain, who made her laugh again. Insiders say she's torn. She still has love for Kody, but she also knows what joy feels like again. And it's been so long since she felt that. Marcus, for his part, isn't pressuring her. I'll be here. If you choose me, he told her gently. And Robyn. She hasn't made a decision, but she knows one thing for certain. I cannot go back to being unloved in a marriage built on guilt and fear. Chapter 14. TLC's response ratings gold. Emotional minefield. Narrator, pressured, cynical, and while hearts were breaking behind closed doors, one group was silently smiling. TLC, the network that built Sister Wives into a franchise, knew exactly what this meant. Raw emotion, scandal, betrayal. One producer allegedly whispered, "This is the most explosive arc we've ever seen. Fans have been waiting years for Kody's reckoning. And now it's finally happening." Cameras were still rolling, quietly, carefully, but the footage, it's going to break the internet when it airs. Chapter 15. The breaking point. Kody files for bankruptcy. Narrator, heavy, slow. The emotional fallout was devastating. But what came next was ruin. For years, Kody Brown lived beyond his means. Multiple wives, multiple homes. Unpaid taxes, legal fees. The dream of Coyote Pass, a giant family compound, left rotting in the dirt. When Christine left, she took nothing. Janelle fought to get back what was hers. Meri walked into debt. And Kody and Robyn stayed in a $900,000 house, living like the cameras would never stop rolling. But the show money slowed. Creditors circled. And in the spring, Kody folded. He filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. He never thought it would come to this, said a friend. He always thought the money would return, that the network would save him, but there was no rescue. Chapter 16. The eviction. Robyn's final humiliation. Narrator. Devastating. Visual. On a humid July morning, it happened. An eviction notice. The home that Kody and Robyn had clung to was no longer theirs. Neighbors described the scene. Movers arrived, boxes stacked like tombstones. Robyn emerged from the house, tears streaking her face, clutching Solomon and Ariella close. Aura trying to calm the younger kids, Dayton refusing to speak. It looked like a funeral, said one witness. It's like they were burying their lives. Kody was there, but distant, cold, repeating to anyone who would listen, "It's not my fault. I did everything I could." But no one was listening anymore, especially not Robyn. She begged him one last time. Fight for the house, for the kids. But Kody looked away, silent, and just like that, the house was gone. Chapter 17. The Suffering of the Children. A home loss. Narrator. Soft, broken, that house wasn't just wood and paint. It was the first place those kids felt safe. Not a rental. Not temporary home. Now, they're in a cramped apartment on the edge of town. The silence at night is different. Not peaceful, empty. They're trying to be strong, said a family friend. But the kids, they don't understand why the adults failed them. One child was overheard asking, "Are we going to be homeless?" Another packed a favorite toy in a suitcase and whispered, "Maybe if we're good, Daddy will take us back." The heartbreak is unbearable. Chapter 18. Robyn's breaking point. Narrator. Aching. She's trying to be strong, trying to keep it together, but Robyn is unraveling. Friends say she barely eats, barely sleeps. She's angry at Kody, at herself, at the world that watched her rise and now delights in her fall. She gave him everything, a close friend, said her identity, her future, her name, and in the end, she lost it all. She's trying to keep the children steady. But how do you hold up 5 lives when your own is sinking? Chapter 19. Kody's isolation. A man alone at Coyote Pass. Narrator. Chilling. He walks the dirt paths of Coyote Pass alone. Once a symbol of hope, now a graveyard of delusion. He talks to himself, sometimes to the wind, sometimes to no one. Neighbors say they hear him shouting at night, words they can't make out. He thinks he can still fix it, said a source. But the truth is, there's nothing left to fix. Christine is gone. Janelle won't return his calls. Meri has gone silent. And Robyn, she's finally learning how to stand without him. Chapter 20. The Final Reckoning. Narrator. Deep. Powerful. This isn't just the end of a marriage. This is the collapse of a kingdom Kody Brown built on charm, ego, and spiritual guilt. Now it lies in pieces. No wives, no fortune, no compound. Just a man alone. And a woman who may finally be realizing that loyalty to pain is not love. What happens next? Will Robyn choose herself for the first time? Will Kody face the truth he's run from for years?
Really, you want to stay separated?
Yeah, I do.
No. No, I am not in that place. I am not wanting.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing fine by God's will. And if you're here, you already know things have changed forever in the world of sister wives. For over a decade, millions have watched the Brown families, Highs and lows play out across living rooms and streaming services. Weddings, babies, breakups, the collapse of a dream. Kody Brown, the patriarch, once the proud voice of polygamy, and Robyn Brown, the so-called favorite wife, the one who is supposed to stay. But now, everything we thought we knew, it's burning. Because today, we're going to unpack the story insiders are calling the most shocking betrayal in sister wives history. A story that begins quietly, subtly, like all heartbreaks. Dawn ends in screaming, tears, and a man who realizes he may have lost everything to the very woman he believed would never leave. This is the downfall of Kody and Robyn Brown. Chapter 1. The final wife standing. Narrator somber. Christine left first. In 2021, the world watched as she walked away not just from Kody, but from the decades of submission, emotional neglect, and spiritual guilt that had weighed her down. Next came Janelle. Quietly, fiercely, she peeled back the layers of loyalty and saw what was left, a man who refused to bend, who refused to see her. She left not with bitterness, but with resolve. Then Meri, the wife who had waited the longest, hoping for crumbs of affection. After years of being publicly dismissed, even humiliated, she finally stopped waiting. And when the dust settled, only Robyn remained. The favored one, the protected one. The soulmate, as Kody so proudly declared. They held hands on camera, smiled at reunions, told the world they were thriving. But behind the scenes, they weren't. Chapter 2. The Prison of Monogamy. Narrator reflective. For Robyn, being the last wife standing wasn't the fairy tale she expected. She had spent years watching Kody divide his time, battle the emotional tug-of-war between 4 different households. She believed, maybe even convinced herself, that being the only wife would finally unlock the intimacy and love she'd been promised. But it didn't. According to family sources, once the other wives were gone, Kody changed, more possessive, more paranoid. No longer juggling multiple relationships, his focus turned inward to control, to suspicion. Robyn wasn't gaining a husband, she was gaining a warden. She thought she'd get his heart, one insider said. Instead, she got his anger. Chapter 3. The Man in the Shadows. Narrator slow, deliberate. At first, no one paid attention. Robyn needed space. Me time, she called it. A coffee shop just outside Flagstaff. Neutral, peaceful. She'd sit by herself at first. A journal, a chai tea, a moment to breathe, but slowly. A change. She wasn't alone anymore. Locals started to notice her sitting with a man. Not Kody. Someone new. Tall, confident, clean-cut, dressed well. They whispered. They laughed. Sometimes she leaned in close, her hand resting near his on the table. Too familiar. Too intimate. A barista later recalled, it didn't look like a business meeting. They looked like they were falling in love. Chapter 4. Who is Marcus? Narrator building tension. His name. Marcus, according to sources, Marcus works in real estate. A newcomer to town, not part of the Browns' religious community, and not bound by the rules that had long kept Robyn tethered. They met, it's said, when Robyn needed advice regarding property and taxes, lingering issues tied to the collapse of the family finances after Christine and Janelle walked away. He helped her. He listened. He saw her. She said she hadn't felt seen in years. A close family friend shared. Marcus didn't ask her to be a sister wife. He asked her to be a woman. Chapter 5. Kody's suspicion grows. Narrator. Dark and intense. Kody didn't notice right away. First, it was subtle. Robyn dressing up more. Coming home later. Her phone always on silent. When he asked questions, she waved them off. You're being paranoid. I just need space. But Kody Brown has always been a man who needs control. And this time, the loss of it sent him spiraling. He started checking her messages, following her location, questioning her every move. Until one night he followed her, and what he saw. changed everything. Chapter 6. The confrontation narrator sharpened tone. It was a Thursday evening. Quiet restaurant 45 minutes outside of town. Upscale, romantic, dimly lit. Robyn walked in wearing a long black coat and soft curls. Her hand was tucked, not into her purse, but into Marcus's. They held hands. They sat close. They ordered wine. Kody watched from the parking lot, steam rising off the windshield, his heart pounding. Then he snapped. Witnesses said he stormed into the restaurant like a storm. One waiter described it as pure chaos. He screamed in Portuguese words. That don't need translation. Liar, traitor. Robyn froze. Marcus tried to stand. Kody shoved the table. Plates shattered. Glass flew. Security had to intervene. The men were pulled apart. Kody was red-faced, screaming. Robyn was sobbing, not out of guilt, but out of fear and freedom. Chapter 7. Robyn moves out narrator.com/cold. The days that followed were silent. Robyn left the house. Not to run away, but to think, to breathe. She stayed with a friend. No cameras, no chaos. Then, in a quiet message to someone close, she said, I didn't mean for it to happen. I was lonely. Marcus heard me out. He made me feel human again. She admitted there was chemistry, emotion, but said it hadn't become physical. Not yet. I wasn't trying to hurt Kody. I just couldn't keep living as a prisoner. Chapter 8. Kody's rage narrator haunting. Kody was shattered. He had sacrificed everything, he told himself. He lost 3 wives because of Robyn. He chose her, protected her, and now she was no different. He called her, texted her, begged her, accused her. Kay gave up everything for you, he screamed. On one voicemail, you were supposed to be the one. One insider described it as a man unraveling. He thought he was the victim of betrayal. But maybe, just maybe, he's the architect of his own destruction. Chapter 9. The family reacts narrator layered emotions. The news spread like wildfire. The restaurant scene, the affair, the fallout. Christine, strong as ever, simply said, karma always finds its way back. He made his choices. Now he knows how it feels. Janelle, more compassionate, said, she's not innocent. But Kody's impossible to live with. This was bound to happen. Meri, she didn't say much. She didn't have to. She simply shook her head and whispered, now. He knows what betrayal tastes like. Meri's quiet compassion, Janelle's final line. And the fallout of ruin, the air was heavy, the silence around the family echoing louder than any words spoken. The world watched with bated breath, and the cracks beneath the surface of the Brown. Family finally split open, not with a whimper, but with a deafening explosion. Janelle had always been the steady one, practical, grounded. She had built her life around a man who promised eternity and gave her uncertainty instead. For years, she swallowed her pride, buried her needs, and pushed forward. But this time, something had shifted. Something final. This wasn't about pride anymore. It wasn't about anger. It was about survival. It was about reclaiming what was rightfully hers after being drained dry. Meri, on the other hand, had weathered storms of abandonment in silence. She had tasted the full spectrum of rejection. Her pain wasn't loud. It simmered beneath the surface, deep and invisible, until it threatened to consume her whole. But not anymore. Her message to Robyn, as whispered through sources close to the family, was both poetic and devastating. I know what it feels like to be discarded. It was a single sentence drenched in heartbreak and layered with history. And no one else could have said it with such crushing accuracy. Fans erupt. Judgment and sympathy collide as the news swept through social media like wildfire. The Sister Wives fandom erupted with mixed emotions, fury, vindication, and grief, all tangled into one. One tweet captured the collective mood. Robyn thought she won when the others left. Now she's paying the price. Karma always circles back. Reddit threads were more cutting. One post read, "This is what happens when you treat your family like disposable pawns. You end up alone, broke, and wondering what went wrong." Yet, amid the rubble of gossip and judgment, voice of compassion rose, one that cut through the noise. Those kids didn't ask for any of this. They're the real victims here. The adults played a game and lost, but the children, their collateral damage. And that, perhaps, is the greatest tragedy of all. TLC's silence and the future of the franchise, TLC, for its part, remained silent publicly. But inside sources spoke of late-night production meetings, frantic calls, and camera crews being quietly dispatched. They're already building it into the next season. One insider admitted, "It's sad, but it's TV gold." This is the kind of real-world heartbreak viewers can't look away from. One producer was overheard saying, "We thought the fallout from Christine leaving was dramatic. That was a warm-up. This is the storm." And the question everyone now asked, would Robyn stay and try to rebuild a shattered fantasy? Or would she finally walk away from the ashes of a man who had nothing left to offer? Robyn's private hell, love, loyalty, and unraveling inside her tiny rental. Robyn sat cross-legged on the floor of what was once a spacious, proud living room, now reduced to a cramped, dimly lit apartment she refused to show on social media. Friends said she barely slept. She stared into space for hours, whispering to herself as if trying to rewind time and make different choices. "She's torn," a close confidant revealed. "She loved Kody once. Maybe she still does, but she's starting to realize that love alone can't rebuild a burning house." And then there was Marcus, the man who quietly, patiently waited in the wings, not pressuring, not demanding, just there. He told her he'd wait, the friend said. He told her, "You don't owe me anything, Robyn. But if you want to live instead of survive, I'll be here." It was the first time Robyn had heard someone speak to her, not at her. It stirred something inside her that had long been buried beneath fear and guilt. Hope. Hope is dangerous when everything else has been burned. They had done what once seemed impossible, stood up to the man who once ruled their world. Janelle and Meri didn't flinch. Not this time. Not anymore. The document lay unsigned in Kody's hands, but their resolve wasn't waiting on his permission. If he refused to sign, they were ready to drag him into court. Their silence over the years had been mistaken for weakness, but now it was a weapon sharpened by betrayal. Witnesses later said Kody lingered long after everyone had left, pacing the coyote past dirt like a man who'd just watched his empire collapse. Slumped shoulders, blank eyes, muttering to himself like he couldn't make sense of the ashes around him. One woman, walking her dog nearby, claimed she saw him talking to the air, staring out across the empty land like he expected it to talk back. He had lost control not just of the land, but of the illusion. News of the confrontation spread through the family like wildfire. Christine, living joyfully in Utah with a man who actually showed up for her, reportedly told a friend, "I'm proud of them. Finally, they see him for who he really is." She didn't even need to name him. Everyone knew who him was. Janelle's kids, the ones who had watched their mother swallow her dignity for years, were blunt. "He used Mom like a doormat," one of her sons reportedly said. "This isn't revenge. This is justice. It's about damn time." Even some of Meri's extended family, who had long questioned why she stayed so long, expressed quiet satisfaction. Maybe now she can finally breathe. One cousin commented, "She's always been the loyal one." But loyalty to a man who abandoned her soul? That's not noble. It's tragic. Fans weigh in the internet. Erupt Sister Wives fans didn't hold back. On Twitter, hashtag Team Janelle and hashtag MERI deserves better trended within hours. "Take what's yours," one user wrote. "Kody doesn't deserve that land." He deserves a folding chair in a parking lot and a mirror. Reddit threads exploded with theories, legal speculation, and emotional breakdowns. One post went viral. Coyote Pass was a metaphor all along, a promised future that never came. A graveyard for broken vows. Kody never intended to build a life. With them, just a lie. Others added, this is what gaslighting